Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. My name is Katelyn from Florals.com and welcome back to another episode of Minimal Mixed Media. Today's episode is super fun because I am doing some more fun things with my paints that I have, and these are paints meant for paper crafting. So I have a Tim Holtz Distress paint, and I also have the Shimmers Acrotones, and I wasn't sure which color I'd like best, so what I decided to do is make some patches on some cardstock. And so I'm using some of each color, and then I'm going to do a combo of the two colors to see which one might match my supplies better that I shared at the beginning. And what's really nice about having simple things like these in your stash is you can really customize the color for your layout. So you have some basic colors, you can really make a whole palette of colors and the whole color wheel if you just have some basics in your stash. And my favorite color is actually the one where I mix the two, and I'm going to be just stamping my images on top of those. So I had a perfect color match for my background paper and what I wanted to scrapbook about. So I let both of those dry and pulled out the two colors that I wanted. So I go for the mixed color here, and then I go for the Spun Sugar from Tim Holtz as my second. And I'm just using my VersaFine black ink and my stamp tool here for these old, super old Martha Stewart stamps. Now, one thing I didn't realize when I was making this project was that since they are paints that are self-primers, especially the Shimmers brand ones, the Acrotones, you will have to wait a while for everything to dry unless you were to use a different type of ink, because the ink does really sit on top of the primer that you put on, so in this case the paint. So same thing sort of happens with gesso. If you were to stamp on top of gesso, it needs time to dry because it's a slicker medium. Same thing goes with acrylic paint, and I didn't really think that through. So after ample drying time for the paint and then for the stamped images, and you could totally do some embossing powder on top so you don't have to worry about that, but I decided not to. Just let them air dry. I can start working on this layout now that I have them all trimmed out after I fussy cut them with my Cutter B scissors. Now you will notice I'm working with a bunch of scraps here for the layers under my two photos of my cute pup here, and these are from the My Mind's Eye paper pad that I've had for years. Definitely since I've been in college I've had this, and I am very, very happy to be using so many scraps and finishing this 6x6 paper pad on this page right here. This is the end. And I know I didn't say it before, but this background paper is by Colorbach. I have linked this marble paper pad several times. I actually got it as a gift a while ago, a few years ago, and it is definitely something that has come in handy. It's definitely not my go-to sort of pattern, but it's so unique and so fresh and fun, and I'll be sure to have it linked down below for you guys in case you are interested in checking out any of the products in this layout. But here you'll see me pulling out some doilies because the stamped images I did, the beautiful match that I made with the paint was really, really close to the background paper, too close in fact for my liking. So I grabbed some lovely Wilton doilies from my stash to use as sort of bases for those floral clusters that I'm going to build out. And then here I end up pulling out this wood veneer title from Momenta that says "You Make My Heart Smile," which has matching pink rhinestones on it, which again match the background. And I think this kind of picture is a prime example of how you can use pink on non-female layouts or non-girly type of layouts or this is my boy dog, his name is Comet, and he looks gorgeous with these flowers. So if you want to use a ton of pinks or purples in your stash on your boys' pages, either put them in a background that helps with those colors, like in this case pink for my pup because of the florals, or put them in clothes that might emulate that, or do black and white photos because you can use whatever colors you wish on any layouts you wish, but this makes it a little bit easier when you're taking the photos and they match the colors you'd like to work with. But here you just saw me flip through my color binder of die cuts, and I end up pulling out a couple of these vellum leaf sets, which are from the Confetti Maggie Holmes line from Crate Paper, which is super duper old now, but I did find some at Tuesday Morning a few months ago and picked up those die cuts. Then I'm going to create some shelves with washi tape. And yeah, you guys probably thought washi tape wasn't going to make it onto this layout, but I snuck it in here. And it's actually really funny because I put it under both photos, not even realizing that the top left photo is where I wanted the title wood veneer to go, and that would cover it all up. So you'll see me here pulling the washi tape back out after I realized I covered the entire thing up to put some new layers down. What I think really worked well on this layout was the different textures and styles I used. We have The paint stroke on just the white cardstock that I used added some texture there. The doilies add their own texture, the wood veneer, the vellum, and foiled pieces from Maggie Holmes. And then washi tape even has its own texture. And the background itself emulates a lot of texture. So I think this layout, even though it's monochromatic in a way, some of the pattern papers behind the photos actually have some additional colors, but I didn't actually go and highlight those in the rest of my embellishing. I did contemplate it though. You'll see as I embellish here in the top right, which I left pretty blank. Nothing else really goes up there to take up all that room because I don't know if I want my journaling in top right or bottom left, and that'll come when I complete this layout. But I decide to, stick down all the flowers and things I loved, and the ink was still coming off on my hands, so I end up using an additional piece of cardstock to sort of peel off more of that residue while it's still not fully dry. And then I take the last scrap of the 6x6 paper pad and stick it up there in the top right of the right-sided photo. And now I'm kind of looking for other items I can include. Do I want enamel dots or sequins or chipboard or other stickers? And as I go through my stash, I know I want more wood veneer. And I remember I have this little wood veneer pup, and it's not exactly wood veneer. It's actually like a chipboard sort of pup shape, but it still gives that wood veneer effect. But I will go and add some wood veneer hearts, camera, and then I found this little word that says play, and since he was at the park for this photo, I thought that worked wonderfully. And as some of you know, if you're over on my Patreon, I recently got the Nouveau adhesive, so I'm trying that out on this layout, which is the first layout I'm using it on. And I will say I like it so far, but more reviews to come on that. But this is my first bottle, and I'm excited to give it a go. I put the dog and face him the opposite direction of the original spot I had him in, only because I thought it would work better to keep the emphasis on the photos, because I ended putting the photos facing outward instead of inward, because I didn't want my dog looking at himself. I thought that might be a little too funny. So that's what I ended up putting them facing outwards, even though that's not the traditional sense people go for. Usually you want your subject to the photo to point inward, but I thought it'd be fun to try it this way. Next up, I pull some stickers out of my stash. I use some from Illustrated Faith and then some from Michaels, just the Recollections and Craft Smart brand, to bring in just some little pops of pink and gold. And there's these little dots that I also include from the same Recollections sticker sheet across the entire page essentially. And then I pull in a few tabs from Illustrated Faith that I think help just add additional things that aren't super modular, because that one with the heart has a nice little circle shape, and I just think it adds a little bit more detail without having to add a ton of bulk or another actual physically large element on the page. Lastly, for this layout, I want to pull out some phrase stickers. So I pull out these fun pink ones from Amy Tangerine. They're sort of a mid-tone pink that sort of, if you were to mix the dark pink I used for my florals and then the light spun sugar pink I used for my florals, it's a mid-tone. So I think it's a nice compromise, but still adds another pop of pink. And while this isn't a totally monochromatic layout, it sort of is. And if you guys didn't know, I have done 2 series of monochromatic layout challenges on my channel, and I can have those playlists linked down below for you guys if you're interested. I'll also have the minimal mixed media playlist linked down below so you guys can check it out. But let me know if you've ever done this, colored and used mixed media to create your own matching color for your layout and then stamp on top of it to make your own die cuts. I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments down below. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful day. And this one was a really fun one to put together for me. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys again very, very soon. Bye, guys.